Hello, I am Bethany Warnches, real estate agent with Addison Jones, and you are watching Tuesday Talks with Bethany, where I answer real estate FAQs. Today, I am going to cover a buyer topic, and what I'm going to talk about is staying focused on finding the one. And no, I'm not talking about finding your significant other. I'm talking about finding your house. So, why is this important? The more focused we are, the better chance we have at being narrowed in on what is really important to us and finding the right house, finding the one. So, the first thing I want you to do as a buyer is establish your why. What do I mean by that? I mean, establish the reason you are choosing to move. Is it because you need your own place? Is it time to move out of your parents' house or time to move out of the apartment with your roommates? Is it because you need more space? Are you a growing family who needs a bigger house? Are you a couple who just bought a dog and you want a bigger yard? Is it because you can afford more now, so you want to upgrade? Maybe it's time to let that first house go because you've been at your career for some time and you're making better money and it's time to upgrade. Or is it time to downsize? Are you an empty nester and you want to downsize now? So why is it important to establish your why? Well, looking at homes together can be lots of fun and very enjoyable, but it also can be an exhausting process. It can be exhausting when you miss out on a house. It can be exhausting and frustrating when you feel like houses aren't coming up for you, or you feel like you've been walking through and you just aren't finding it. So it's important to establish your why, because when you are feeling exhausted or discouraged, then you can go back to that why and it can re-energize you and refuel you to remind you why you got out there in the first place. And you can get back out there and get searching again. So you need to have a reason why that's going to motivate you to keep going. Then, as a buyer, I want you to sit down and create two lists, a must-have list and a nice-to-have list. So your must-haves should be non-negotiable when you are looking at homes. If you for sure need 3 bedrooms and 2 full baths, it's non-negotiable, then it's non-negotiable. But your nice-to-have list is maybe where some more give and take is going to occur. Maybe you said, I want an acre minimum. Well, you found the perfect house and it's on 0.8 acres. Maybe you come down on that. Or maybe you wanted to have a whirlpool tub in the master bathroom, but maybe there's a large master bath and you can put it in the next couple of years. Or maybe you said, I want to have a fenced yard for my dog, but it's in a subdivision that allows fences and you could put one up if you would like, but it's just not there now. So it's looking at those nice to haves and realizing you may need to compromise on them. And it is awesome if we find a house that has all your must haves and all your nice to haves. But just really focusing on those things when we go through houses will help you to eliminate a house if it's not for you, help you to not waste your time looking at houses that don't meet what you're looking for. So just having that list will help you better focus on finding the right one. Last of all today, I want to talk about setting realistic expectations. And this is something that you should meet with your agent about and talk with them about and have this conversation so you better understand what realistic expectations are. So say, for example, you really want 5 acres in the country and you want a house that was built in 1990 or newer and you want it for under $250,000. Well, that is not a realistic expectation. You may find a house in the country on 5 acres, under 250, but it may be a house that is a fixer-upper and needs a ton of work. So it's just understanding for your budget that you have, what is a realistic expectation for your budget, and are you pushing too high? And it's good to have this conversation up front and off the bat, because otherwise it can be exhausting and it can be discouraging and frustrating. And so that's why when you set realistic expectations from the start, that won't happen, because you'll be prepared to know what you're in for your budget. I also want to talk about age of home. So something very common here in Fond du Lac, in our homes that were built in the early 1900s, is that stone foundation where there is very, very often seepage. It's very hard to avoid. So that's an expectation of a house built in 1910 with a stone foundation. So knowing that up front. Now, these old homes, over time, updates may have been done to plumbing, to electrical, but the thing is, you can't walk into a 1910 house and expect it to be like a house from 2021. It's just not a realistic expectation. Now, if somebody completely flipped that house, they gutted it, and made it to be like a 2021 house, then maybe you can expect that. But you are also going to be paying quite a bit of a higher price for that reason. So it's so important to talk with your agent and understand expectations for your budget, for the age of a home, so you're just not disappointed and frustrated, and you have your expectations set that maybe are unrealistic. So have that conversation up front, so you can successfully move forward and find the one. So thank you for joining me. I am going to continue this next week. And I will talk more about staying focused on finding the one and what are some more ways that you can do that as well. But today's takeaways are: establish your why. Establish your reason that you are looking to move. So, if you're out there just looking, you can come back and remember what is fueling you to make this move. Then I encourage you to make the must-have and nice-to-have list, so you aren't just aimlessly wandering through houses, but instead it's more, okay, it has this, it has this, it has this, and just being more narrowed in on what you are actually wanting. And then last of all, setting those realistic expectations and having a chat with your agent and understanding what your budget can afford, and for the age of a home, what are some expectations as well. So I hope you learned something today, buyers, and I look forward to chatting with you again.